world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Hello viewers around the world. Good evening. It's another beautiful week start, Monday, the 9th of June, and we're here on our news update. My name is Godwin Iweajunwa. We're here on our program, Between the Lines. Between the Line, it's our program that brings you updates every Monday. We're sorry, it's actually meant to be a 7 p.m. African time program. But due to some other engagements, we're coming an hour late. So, but you're welcome. This is Between the Lines. Elevate your news, like we say, fuel your success, kickstart the week with news update Between the Lines. And here we are. Joining me Between the Lines are my colleagues, friends. I've missed some of them. From Lagos, Nigeria is our man, Benny Olayinka Raji. Raji, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good evening. Good evening to viewers around the world.
Between the Lines.
Welcome to a Monday.
Okay.
Between the Lines.
Between the Lines. You're
You seem
welcome,
frozen.
Raji. Yes. Small hitch there, but it's good to see you. I can see you. I can hear you, and I'm happy to see you the new week. Also joining us from London, United Kingdom, is our great friend. We've missed him. He's been doing some back end engagement, but we want him in the front end. Want to see him. Femi Okay from UK, London. Femi, how are you?
Hi, how you doing up, Niger? Niger
Nice.
for life.
Up Niger, I like that. The Better Niger conveyor. How is Better Niger program going? How's it going?
You see my Nigerian jersey.
Nice, Femi. Yes, we missed you to give us updates on all of those stories. The Unity Cup, all those big events have been happening around you there. We know you're also enjoying the Muslim holiday. Part of why you're here today. Is that so?
I'm not Muslim, but yeah, some of my family, most Yorubas, half of their family is Muslim. So yeah, we all celebrate it together.
Okay. All right. And Raji is here. Raji is Muslim. Raji, we hope we have our Aaron Elia coming soon from you.
There are stories, a lot of stories on Aaron Elia this year.
And I hope you've got enough Aaron Elia, because I heard that some people are not able to buy.
Yes.
How can you buy Aaron Elia for 1 million naira?
Oh dear.
How can Aaron Leia be more expensive than a whole cow? A cow is not up to 1 million naira.
Yeah, but the cow is not the sacrificial. It's not the sacrificial lamb. The ram is.
So some people want to just make bumper harvest. That's what's going on. They won't sell. They will have no choice but to reduce the price, because they're not going to sell that much.
They're not going to sell that much. Wow. Okay, gentlemen. Viewers, for those of you that don't know what we call Ileya, it's a major holiday celebrated by Muslims worldwide. A 3-day of sometime 4 days holiday, and in Nigeria, it was Friday last week, and today we had this Muslim holiday. It's a beautiful time to meet with families, stay together, and enjoy the sacrificial goat meat. All right, gentlemen, let's bring in also from Toronto, Canada, our man George Chukwu. George, you are welcome.
Thank you so very much, Matt Godwin. Thank you, Olayinka Raji. And my main man, Femi Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Femi Okay. Listen to me, my brother. It is good to have you here, Mr. Okay.
Nice to see you, George. It's been a while.
I know. You abandoned us. You didn't send us
No,
divorce paper. You just divorced us like that.
you know why I divorced you? Because you don't join the Trump land. Trump land. I know they like Trump again.
So me now I deal with and see what you don't like me again, or you
I
want to
never
be?
know say you, I never know say you don't join because everybody they decamp. You
Guys,
don't decamp. You
I
don't
never
guys,
decamp.
I never the camp.
guys,
I see the
this,
neutral.
this is a beautiful way to start because we're coming to it now. Let me start with Femi. Femi,
Yes,
we're midterm. We're like in a midterm
yes,
administrative season. This is
yes,
Tinubu's second year, 2 more years to go. Let's talk about the state of the nation, man.
yeah.
Let's talk. Let me start with you, Femi. Femi, state of the nation, Nigeria. What will you say?
It's for me. It's simply a work in progress. You know, of course, you can say this is going to be in effect 10 years of APC government. Some people say President Tinubu promised renewed hope, but instead he's delivering renewed shege. But look, at the end of the day, you know, you're dealt with the cards that are at your disposal, and the cards that were in his hands after, you know, after Buhari left. Not I'm not blaming him or not blaming him. I'm just saying the situation on the ground was so dire that drastic things had to be done. And the thing is, all the political parties before the elections and during the campaign all voted and also aspired to do exactly the same thing, which is to remove subsidy and float the naira. With respect to subsidy removal, that wasn't a thing that they even had a choice with, because that one was already legislated in law with the PIA. The law has already prescribed the subsidies on petroleum. So by June 2023, whoever was the president would have been faced with that reality that subsidies was gone. President Tinubu was just saying the reality. Those playing politics about that, that's their own wala. So at the end of the day, and also you were in a situation where there was no appropriation for money for that. And in any case, when the subsidies was gone, the money then goes to the states. I heard someone in an interview was saying that, oh, the president is not using the money well. But you must understand that that money is a federal money, which goes into the federation account, and therefore must be divided between the 36 states, FCT, and the federal government, and the local governments as well. So it's not a money that belongs to the federal government. So that's why states now have got 3 times the budgets they had before 2023. They've got 3 times that budget. Of course, you can say the value of the naira has reduced their spending capacity. But if they're spending that money on capital within Nigeria, for example, doing roads, which is going to mean that the granite that they're going to need for the roads is going to be based in Nigeria. The cement they're going to use is based in Nigeria. A lot of the iron and steel and whatever, all in Nigeria. The timber and so on and so forth. All the components are going to be in Nigeria, which is going to increase GDP. So that's why the other thing you've got to look at is our GDP has increased. It's increasing over this period. It's not going down. In the UK, it's 1 point something. In Nigeria, we're at 3.84 or something now. So that's a good news. Of course, inflation is the devil that is attacking everybody. And that was inevitable once you float the currency, once you remove subsidies. But the good news is that over time, that inflation is coming down. We're already seeing the signs of it, and it will get more and more reduced as we produce more, as we reduce import dependency and expand the economy. The final thing I want to say is that at the end of the day, people are saying that, but oh, look at our GDP. Our GDP is the worst ever. It's fallen to, we're now the 4th in Africa and all this kind of stuff. I want to tell people who are real economists. I say, look, the GDP in naira terms has not fallen, and the economic activity that is actually happening has increased. That's why our GDP is growing. Our GDP is growing, as it were. But in terms of dollar terms, because our value of the currency is devalued, it means that, of course, on paper it looks like we've fallen in our GDP, but actually that couldn't be further from the truth. More things are happening. The economy is growing. Things are tight, and things will get better. And in 2 years is not enough time to see the change that people are expecting. They're thinking that after you remove the subsidies, in 2 years, we should be El Dorado. Everything should be hunky-dory. That's not possible. You know, I've got granddaughters and their mom is trying to wean them off of breast milk. Like I say, subsidies is breast milk. And if you see the way that they're crying and they're making noise and they're fighting the whole thing, they're not happy. In fact, if you look at them now, you think that they're not being fed, like they're dying of hunger. This is what happens when you wean children and Nigerian children off of breast milk. This is the reality. We must tell ourselves the truth. We're not going to continue drinking breast milk. We're now got to eat solids. And that's where we are. That's the truth.
Loud and clear, Femi. You have about 67 people listening to you, and I know comments will be coming. But let's hear State of the Nation. The man in Toronto, then finally Raji will tell us because he's on ground. George, from your own standpoint, State of the Nation, Nigeria.
Well, from the very beginning, I have already said from the beginning, nobody is complaining about the fuel subsidy being removed. With the manifesto of many political parties during the 2023 election, they all agreed that fuel subsidy is a go, that it gotta go. But the problem is you can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't have the wisdom on how to apply that wisdom, that particular plan, it will falter, it will destroy a lot of things. A blessing can become a curse. What we are saying was, I don't think that the president intentionally, on the day of the inauguration, just blatantly say, fuel subsidy is gone. He did not understand what he was doing. It was, as a matter of fact, I call that what you call a political ignorance. Because as the president of a nation, anything you say makes a lot of difference. Fuel subsidy being gone or being taken away, it was something that was agreed upon on all the platforms. But the way that it was instituted was so wrong, so blatant, with no additional plans whatsoever to implement such in order to cushion the effects of it before it was actually implemented. That is what we are saying. Now we have seen deregulation, floating the naira and all those things. All these things are good ideas, great ideas, fantastic ideas. We have to put it in a way that people will absorb into it. Just like he's saying, removing, breast milk from a child, they go through that withdrawal syndrome and stuff like that. But if you implement it in such a way, just almost like a child that is, taking milk, all of a sudden you take the milk away without, reducing it, and then you start giving them solid food, it could become a problem. And that is exactly what we have been saying. Great plan, wrong implementation. That is it. Now, the reason being that if the former president was acute enough to have known all the dangers and slowly implement ideas before the new president comes in, it would have been better. But what we are saying, I have said this in this platform so many times, that the former president handed over Asiwaju a decayed economy. Economy actually that he was trying to use to make sure that the man does not come into power, and therefore even sinking the ship of this nation deeper. So it became very difficult for Asiwaju to come in and then take over from where he stopped. He has a lot to do. And I'm saying that the former president Buhari was not fair to Tinubu. I have said it in the past and I'm still saying it. And I say for him, all these particular plans that he's putting in place that has sunk the nation even deeper in inflation and everything was all great plans. But what we need to do is to learn from our past mistakes and ensure that in the future, if we have great plans, let's plan ahead and plan the implementation process so it will not destroy the people. Because you can't tell me that a child that is dead of hunger a month ago, okay, we are clapping for them. Oh, you died. Okay, it's okay for you to die because we're going for a great plan. No, it's not good. You must put your plans together, implement it systematically in order to not to destroy the people and the economy. That's all.
That's all. That's not all, George. That's a big one.
Well, that's what I just said because I was only responding. Hold Hold on. Let
Okay.
me before Olayinka Raji comes in. So far, what we are seeing is all dependent upon how deep the situation was. If you ask me today, the nation is in a little chaos because of the implementation. But the plans that he's put together is working. And I'm seeing progress made. Eventually, when we all get used to it, it could be better. But right now, it is a political and economic chaos.
Okay. To balance this, let's hear from the man on ground, the reality, the man facing the realities of all of what you've said. Raji,
Yes.
tell us.
Yeah. Yes.
State of the
Thank
nation.
you. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here today. And I'm glad that the APC spokesman in England is also here. I've heard all that he has had to say.
I'm an ABC member. I'm not a spokesman, official spokesman, but go ahead.
But the fact is this. Yes,
Mhm.
subsidy ab initio was a scam. Buhari said it, and events have proved it. Because about 2 weeks ago, one of those who were enjoying the scam was jailed for about 14 years for collecting more than 1.2 billion naira as subsidy scam. The whole subsidy thing was a scam. And the way the president came in and removed subsidy such flippantly shows a certain immaturity in him. Because to make a policy statement so flippantly is actually very, very mature and very, very indecent of the president. And that was the very first misstep that he did. Because with that flippant declaration that subsidy was gone, the price of everything more than tripled. And we are suffering it till now. And in fact, there's no ease. You know, so what the president should have done instead of removing subsidy, and he has done it anyway, would have been for us to know that it's a scam, because months before then the NNPC had told us that the NNPC was no more paying for fuel subsidy.
Mhm.
So which arm of government was paying subsidy? To whom were the invoices being given, and who was paying the subsidies? A former governor of Bauchi State was on national TV confessing that he's making so much money from subsidy and that the whole thing is a scam. The president came in, there was nothing to look into it. In fact, up to now, I thought the president should have looked into the scam, even as he has removed subsidy, so-called removed subsidy. But nothing has been done because it seemed to me that most of those people who are gaining from that subsidy, a lot of them are in government, a lot of them are in supporters of the present government. Therefore, the government cannot
Go after them.
look into the whole thing. Still, the inflation has gone high. Inflation, when the country is about to float its currency, it is not only economics. There's a political part
Mhm.
to your currency, and no country worthy of itself will float its currency without putting some political strains on it, because your currency ensures your strength as a nation, as a country.
Powerful.
Therefore, there are so many missteps from the government. And then you look at expenditure. A government that is borrowing for even to pay other salaries is now is now investing 15 trillion on a highway, coastal highway. 15 trillion used to be the country's budget. It is about a third of the current budget. And how can any country devote 15 trillion, a third of its currency, on a road, on a single road? Whereas more than 90% of the roads across the country are in very, very bad shape. You know, and when movement is restricted, commerce is also restrained. So instead of putting so much money on a coastal highway, which I'm sure is going to become an elephant project, a quite elephant project, the government should have faced more about one, how do we do about railways, and making sure railways reach all the necessary points across the country. If you are not going to do so much on roads. Recently, the government has gone to borrow maybe 2 point something billion for infrastructure. And I keep asking, okay, please tell us which infrastructure you want to apply this money to. Because the word infrastructure is being thrown around anyhow. So much so that building a coastal railway is a coastal highway is considered infrastructure. Building overhead bridges across lanes in every local government is infrastructure. Therefore, we have to define what we mean by infrastructure. We are wasting too much money. Rather than sitting down and living within our means, we spend what we earn. We spend what we earn. We should not put too much emphasis on export, because at the moment you can't buy 2,000 naira worth of ginger. You can't get to buy ginger because
Ginger.
most of the ginger is being exported.
Okay.
Ginger is so expensive that if you still defraud anybody to want to buy 5,000 naira worth of ginger, it is what we used to buy for 15 naira at some point. The same thing goes with shea butter. The same thing goes with other things that we need to use in-house
Basic
instead of spending so
essentials.
money
Essentials.
exporting. Let us
Thank
live
you.
within our means and let us
Thank
do
you,
what we
Reggie.
have to do.
Thank you, Reggie. To bring our viewers, those just joining us, to what we're discussing. We're discussing the state of the nation, Nigeria. The harsh economic situation, the skyrocketing cost of living, the insecurity that is ravaging also most parts of Nigeria. Gentlemen, let me bring you to somebody that also said today. He gave, if I had to do a press release, and that's the LP presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Now, he came out more stronger than some of what George and Raji is saying. Femi, he said he condemns all the wrong. He said that there would have been more input into the security and economic solutions than the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road. I'm trying to put the words he used, and he also condemned the agitation of the so-called IPOB, and he called for dialogue over that use. So, gentlemen, security is another point. George, you didn't highlight on that. Raji, you didn't highlight on that too. But let me start with Femi. Femi, we are seeing more gruesome things happening. Our people can't go to farm, Femi. You were saying they do, but I'm seeing more pictures of.
So I want to address the insecurity plus the points. As I said, I want to come back on George and Raji. First and foremost, I always hear this from George and those detractors, and I don't want to be flippant. It's not about being flippant. We must start telling ourselves the truth. The PIA was passed in 2021. And in the PIA Act, it said that petroleum subsidies were to be removed in February 2022. This was, in fact, when the PIB was being debated, it was in the papers, it was on the television over and over. In the bill, when it was finally passed, it is written there that subsidies will finish on February 2022. So the idea that Nigerians don't know and this all suddenly just happened is a complete fraud. And it's done for political grandizing. The point is,
how do you legislate against subsidy?
My point. Hold on, let me finish my point. The point is, not only was it supposed to be removed in February 2022, President Buhari at the time extended that removal twice, so that I think it was going to be June 2023, I don't know, he extended it twice so that the final time of when it was going to be removed was June 2023. So whilst the campaign was going on, everybody knew it. All the campaigners, all Nigerians knew it, but they chose to ignore it for political purposes. This is the thing. And we're telling ourselves a lie that all of a sudden we've just been sprung on us. That's not the truth. So whoever was there, it was already legislated that 20...
This is obfuscation.
Hold on, let me finish. This is just a fact. This is not makeup. You can go and do your research. So everybody knew that by 2023, June, then the president was inaugurated on the 29th of June, effectively subsidies was gone. We're just telling ourselves the truth. But because we want to pretend that we're babies, we want to hear the truth. Fine, no wala, let's pretend. But that's one. Now, he went on to, Raji was saying that at the end of the day, you know, government could have done this, government could have done that. I mean, there are many things that government could have done. But at the end of the day, like we're talking about insecurity now, he's talking about the price of ginger. And I think that's good because I'm a farmer now. I just done 27 acres of cassava the other day, and I have more acres I'm going to devote to ginger, and I'm going to devote to, what's the other one he talked about? Is it shea butter? Yes, we'll grow those. So at the end of the day, I am involved in it, and people are growing every day. I mean, I speak to my manager. Look, and people are going to the farm. I've even sent someone there the other day. There are hundreds and hundreds of hectares being farmed daily. It is completely falsehood to say that Nigerians are not farming. That's not to say that there aren't pockets of places in Benue, in Taraba, in different places where there are incidents of criminality and thuggery and banditry and insurgency. Of course, that's going to happen regardless. And finally, my final point is that you mentioned about Peter Obi and that, okay, he had an interview, and I really done an op-ed about his interview. And to be honest, he had a glorious opportunity on RI's TV to show the world how capable he is and what the alternatives he says he would have done that would have been different to President Buhari. And to be honest with you, it was empty. I beg everybody to watch that interview. And he couldn't even mention IPOB. You're talking about IPOB. He didn't even mention the word IPOB. Rufai went on and on and on and said, why is it that you not said anything to condemn IPOB? He said that about 3 or 4 times. In his reply, he didn't even mention the word IPOB. He couldn't say IPOB, the proscribed terrorist group. That shows you the extent of what he would be as a president of Federal Republic of Nigeria in terms of his security. He would leave things like that alone and pretend that they don't exist. Let's park it to one side. That's not the kind of presidency that we need. We don't need a president that's going to pander to populist propaganda just to make Nigerians feel good. Meanwhile, the whole floor is destroyed. Because if you're going to support currency, Raji, which you said the government should do, where is the money going to come from? There is no money. And you say that government shouldn't borrow. You cannot run a government without a deficit funding, without borrowing. Even America, the biggest country in the world, Trump said he's going to reduce borrowing. But guess what? His big brand new bill, or whatever the bill he's going to talk about, is increasing the borrowing. So borrowing is an ever-present denominator in any government.
You are comparing yourself with the US.
Okay, Femo, let's come to the insecurity.
Okay, let me deal with that. Okay.
Yes, all right, George.
So when it comes to insecurity, I have already said in the past, there is something going on that we fail to understand when it comes to like Boko Haram and the rest of these other terror groups. 2 years into President Tinubu's administration, Nigeria's security challenges remain deeply troubling. Everybody knows this. Despite promises of reform, Boko Haram and other terror groups continue to wreak havoc all over Nigeria, especially in the north. Kidnapping, banditry, attacks on communities persist with little reprieve. The lack of clear and coordinated national security strategy have left many Nigerians feeling unsafe and abandoned. This is something that we all know. The situation raises serious concerns about the government capacity and the political will. That is the key word, the political will to secure the nation, simply because I believe that the oligarchy do not want the government to come after some of these people for special reasons that, honestly speaking, if you go to Sambisa Forest, it is being protected by these terror groups because of the kind of money they're making from that area. Interview has been done already to people, villagers and people, and they hear planes, helicopters coming in and going, taking white people and leaving. So something is there. Maybe the reason why they're not fighting it the way they're supposed to is that some of the top guns in the government are making money. Or maybe they don't want Boko Haram to be killed because they consider them to be their brothers. So that is exactly one of the major issues. So up until today, I said to our president, Asiwaju, the ball is in your court. You are the only man that we know today with your political balls and the impunity that can take care of this, unless from the north that they are threatening him. If you do so, something else will happen. I don't know. But right now, as it is, I will give them 0 when it comes to insecurity and protection of our people.
0 when it comes to insecurity.
Yes. And it's not directly against them. It might be because of what the things that I have said. Because I know that this man, if he wants to deal with this issue, we have enough military might to deal with them once and for all. But something is wrong somewhere.
Sorry, Femi was accusing Obi of not even mentioning IPOB at once, because IPOB is a terrorist organization that has been proscribed by government. How many people have IPOB killed? How many?
Thousands.
The Boko Haram is internationally recognized as the 4th most vicious terrorist group in the world. They have not been proclaimed as a terrorist group in Nigeria.
That's not true. They have been proscribed, and you keep saying that. That's a fact.
Now, going forward, I would have thought that Tinubu was aware of all the insecurity that we are facing, and that Nigerians are in IDP camps in their country.
Oh dear.
That the first thing that could be done would be to return all these people in IDP camps to their original homelands and their farmlands, and be protected therein. But it seems to me that there's a deliberate and insidious method of distorting our demographics by replacing indigenous Nigerians with aliens and other people from outside the country to come and take over their lands. Maybe it's in preparation for some agenda or something, I do not know. And most of especially across the southern Kaduna, Plateau, and Benue, those places have been devastated. I would have thought that the people in IDB Council have been resettled, and then they will be assured that the food basket of the nation, which is the Benue, will continue with their production of food and agricultural products for the country. There's something wrong. And I agree with George about the fact that if insurgency continues for more than a week, more than a month in any community, those who are in power in that community, in that country, must be aware and may be culpable.
I want to agree with you all on this. I want to agree with you all on this, and only to the extent that you have what they call fifth columnists. So even within the military, there are people within the military that are benefiting from this war and insurgency. So what you found was at the beginning of the presidency, it looked like insecurity was getting better. Things were getting better. So maybe some of these people weren't getting the benefits that they were getting before. So they said, you know what, we have to up the ante. We have to up the ante. With more killings and whatever means, more allocations, more weapons, more whatever it is, who knows, you understand? And one thing that I agree with everybody on, and I think we all agree, I think the day when any community can be sacked and the community renamed and other people being put there, this has to stop. And that's why I think that the governors, I think they're part of the problem, because they should be able to get those communities back to the rightful people that own them and secure them. I mean, even if you have a what they call like special forces, a team of 5 members of special forces in every village that has been attacked, a team of special forces, just 5 of them, could cause havoc to any Boko Haram or any other of these people because they'll be specially trained to deal with them, and they would be, you know. But we don't have that, so I think that's one thing that must be tackled straight away. Communities who have been ransacked and have been taken over by whoever, they must go back to the rightful owners, and the people must go back there and they must be protected. I mean, this is just unconscionable. I don't agree. Whichever government is in place. And the problem with Nigeria is that whoever is in position, these kind of craziness are not going to stop. And I don't know what is in Nigeria, why we just enjoy killing ourselves.
Enjoy killing ourselves, gentlemen. We're coming back. Let's come back. Sorry, gentlemen. Let's take a small break. Get some cold water, refresh your throat, and we'll be back. Yes, viewers, welcome back. Beautiful outing here. Good discussion. My colleagues are here. Raji from Lagos, Nigeria, Femi from London, UK, and George from Toronto, Canada. Yes, State of the Nation. That's what we're doing, viewers. We are looking at 2 years of Tinubu's regime, and everybody's talking now. Also, gentlemen, there's a man that we all know, and I know Raji might know him, George. Olisa Agbakuba is a renowned constitutional lawyer and former president of Nigerian Bar Association. He said something. He said all of Tinubu's economic reforms will fail as long as the political structure is not well aligned. I was looking at what that political structure means, but who will help us? This man knows what he's saying, and he says every of these things Femi is telling us might not work in the next 2 years if things are not put together well politically. So what does that mean, Raji? What do you think Olisa Agbakuba is trying to tell us?
You see, the Nigerian political system is confusing.
Okay.
Now we call ourselves the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There's nothing federal in the way we run our system. Until we actually tell ourselves, okay, look, this is the kind of government we want to run. Let us have true federalism. You cannot be making money in Kano and be giving it out to somebody in Zamfara. Let there be a system of financial probity or financial. You get your funding from the state. You make money on your state. Not less than 80% of it should be retained by the state, because the money is made in the state. You take taxes, you take things. Please, you cannot be charging. You cannot be in a state like Lagos, where you can drink alcohol and pay taxes on it, and then in a place like Kano, where you are not even allowed to sell alcohol, and then the VAT on alcohol in Lagos will be shared with Kano State. That does not bring anything into the coffers. There's a serious imbalance in the way that we share the resources that come to each state. The idea of a state going to Abuja for a monthly allocation is an anathema to to real federalism. The center has become too strong. All the things that Tinubu was fighting against when he was governor of Lagos State is the same things he's now doing by making the center very, very strong, and he himself behaving like an emperor and dishing out resources as he wishes. That power is too strong to be in the center. Let there be a distribution of the resources. If your resources come from your state, please, most of it should be retained in the state. And then
Thank
there
you,
be
George.
a way. Yes.
George, Reggie is making
Right.
sense. It's clear, it's simple. He said it so well. I don't know, guys.
Well, yeah, I did listen to Abokaba. I did listen to that particular narrative and the argument that he was making. He said he praised the fuel subsidy and forex the regulation, but though in the beginning he mentioned the same thing that we were saying, that the implementation was wrong, but he praised him for the strength in being able to do that. But he also warned that these moves that are if it's undermined by the Nigerian centralized governance, that it will not work. That's exactly what our brother Reggie is saying. Abokaba described Nigerian federal system as 90% dysfunctional. That's what he said. 90% dysfunctional. He said that the states and local governments act as collection points, not driving the growth. Because everybody's eyes in the central government, the money they're going to receive. Locally, they are not doing anything to increase the economy, the GDP locally. He argued that the system excludes millions in the informal sector. Weak and local institutions are too much. There's too much red tape that block the real economic inclusion. That's what he said. Using agriculture as an example, he criticized Abuja top-down policy approach. He said it ignores local realities like the soil and the climate. So now this guy is somebody, he's very, very well renowned and he studies a lot. He's a constitutional lawyer. So he recommended that the president devolve the responsibilities of agriculture, non-microfinance and trades to states and councils, so that it will come from bottom up. That's what he's saying. Okay. He also called for constitutional reform to clarify the roles of each level of government, which is what Asiwaju started doing when he wanted to make the local government independent of the state government. That was one step move. According to him, federal ministries should set standards while states handle the implementation of it. He also said that local governments should be empowered to run schools, health centers, and markets. Now, this is a way to decentralize the power from the top to bottom so that we can work from bottom up. He warned that reform without restructuring will widen inequality and then only entrench failure at the very back. So finally, he said that Tinubu government is at a crossroad and must embrace political structure now, or else in a few years things will not work. All these implementations and everything that he has implemented already will come against us rather than working for us. So that's what he said in conclusion. Yes.
Tell me, do you agree with all of this?
No, I don't.
Raji's take was clear and simple. Centralized government. I mean, I think, and that was one of the major highlights of the man's speech. Tell us, Femi.
Yeah, I don't actually have much time for Agbakaba. I see him, to be honest with you, as a political failure. He's one of those that has failed in all his quests.
You don't have to get personal, Femi. You don't have to get personal.
Raji, I'm allowed to speak my mind. I don't interfere in your conversation.
And if I have my view, not his person.
Excuse me, I have a feeling and I have a belief of what I think he is, and I'm speaking my mind. If he wants to object to what I'm saying, by all means. I'm not saying I'm a great person in any case, but I believe he's part of failure. And what he is trying to say that when you lose the game, instead of you to go and think about how you lost and re-strategize and build the team to win, we must clear the game and start with new rules. so that we can win.
It's not as petty as
Raji,
as
please
you
let
are.
me speak, please. I don't
No,
care.
you don't have to talk to his
Raji,
person.
you're not
You are
Are you,
being
why are you
personal.
defending
This is
him?
a personal attack on Agbakoba. It is nothing.
Are you
It
his
is petty
solicitors
of
or his
you.
spokesperson? Are you
It is very, very
spokesperson?
petty of you.
I can be petty. I'm entitled to that, and I want to be, and I'm saying it intentionally. The point is,
Now, Mark, are you going to allow this
it's not about
pettiness
me
on your
and you.
program?
It's not being
It's
about me
okay.
and you.
Let him speak. Let him speak, Raji. Let him speak. Let's hear
Exactly. Let me speak. He's part of the failure, and he continues his failure, and he's not going to achieve anything. I watched an interview on him, and he's trying to make out like in fact, he was more or less inferring that we should have a coup. You understand? And I'm like, what? You must be joking. He was with Sharon on Politics Today, and I thought, what the hell is this guy talking about? What he's saying, the president of Nigeria cannot change the constitution. The changing of the constitution is down to the legislature, and we have to follow the rules. And if you can't change if you can't persuade the National Assembly, persuade your House of Assembly members, enough of them, to do your bidding, then you need to re-strategize and work on your strategy. You can't continue failure and then expect for the winners to concede to your failure. No, that's not the way it works. When APC was out of government for 16 years, they strategized to work to make sure that they could come over. Now you are a failure, then you need to work and strategize if you're in a coalition of the willing to make sure that you're strong enough to oppose the incumbency. But rather than that, they're fighting amongst themselves. They're not ready to choose whoever, and they're weak in their entirety. So at the end of the day, the failure is on them. It's not on the government. The government must pursue what it's doing, its own agenda. And that's the way it is.
Femi, that's your opinion, and it's
of
taken.
Course, that is my opinion.
You're tuned into SSM Monday Between the Lines.
What I believe that Olayinka Karaji was trying to say, that when people resort to personal attacks, it often is a sign that they've run out of real substance. Basically, that's what Olayinka. That's what I want to tell. That's what Olayinka. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
No,
instead of engaging, instead of engaging, hold time. He said instead of engaging in facts and ideas, they're diverting attention with insults. It's a tactic that reveals more about their limitations than their arguments.
I said it's political.
That's what Olayinka Karaji was saying. That's what he was saying.
George, I like what you're saying because you're taking words that I use for people. I like that. But the truth is, no, it's true. I didn't insult him. I'm just saying that politically,
you call him the man. This man is one of the best minds in Nigeria.
As a lawyer, he may have won many cases. He tried to become Attorney General and he failed. You understand? There are many things in which he failed, and it's just the truth. He's supported certain political parties, supported certain candidates, and failed.
So that's just the truth. Can we go on to more mature discussion, please?
Let's keep the State of the Nation discussion on hold.
I like you, George. I'm on your side.
Let's keep this on hold for now. Wednesday, we'll be having more conversation. Remember, Wednesday we do the African update too. Now let's do a little bit of international news. We've been seeing too many protests, burning of cars, burning police vehicles in LA. George, it's not too far from you. What's happening in LA? Why are people going crazy? But before George speaks, I think we need, let's just see a video of one of those hey man, one of those. Viewers,
it is very sad. It is
very sad.
Sad. The thing about it is that there is a level of authoritarianism that is going on with Donald Trump, and what is happening with that is unconstitutional. Some of the things that he decides to do, he wakes up in the morning, whatever comes to his mind, he wants to implement it, whether it goes against the Constitution or not, which is illegal, in itself. Now we saw this particular move. If it started originally deporting all kinds of people, even people that are citizens of the United States of America, because they are from other countries, or maybe because they have tattoos or whatever the case might be. You pick them up without any going through any judicial process. You deport them. That is absolutely wrong and is condemnable. Now he's doing this in LA, and people are rising up and saying, no, you can't continue with this. Now he is bringing armed forces into that place. Can you imagine that? And even threatening to arrest the governor and the mayor. So can you just imagine that? So you see, what is happening, he's pushing the buttons. And if he's not very, very careful, there will be such a chaos that will erupt in that nation that will disintegrate and destroy the whole nation as a whole if he is not careful. Now look at what's happening with him and Doge. Okay, this government, thing that what's his name, Musk was taking care of. All of a sudden, they are the worst enemy. The bromance is gone. No more, a civility. Even this guy is coming after him with left, right, and center. I mean, Musk coming after President Trump. The fact of the matter is, you cannot be bigger than the nation that you are ruling. If you are in democracy, it is impossible. You can try it, but if the nation ignores you, then that nation goes down. But if the nation says no, it cannot happen, that is when, the rubber will meet the road. But that's exactly what is happening right now. Because every single individual that is working with him are psychophants. Nobody will tell him the truth. That's what the worst leader in the world is, a leader who does not have the ability to listen to people that specialize in certain areas.
Okay,
I'm telling you.
Raji, Trump's administration is ready.
Trump is an African in Nigeria, in the US now. I'm happy that Trump is doing to them what the US government has been doing to all other nations in the third world and the South America and everywhere, where they will just go and depose their president and replace him with a dictator. They are feeling it now, and I'm happy they are feeling it. And I'm happy also that the people are rising up, because how can you come to a restaurant and then arrest all the hands in the restaurant, and then you want to deport them? I'm happy that the people came out and said, no, you can't do this. You can't do this. So yeah, I'm happy about what is happening. And if he doesn't take care, they may take him out.
Femo, part of this also was a follow-up to that what we call romance with Elon Musk that was cut off last week, and we begin to see a lot of things happening after that. Tell us what are your impressions about all of this?
Well, as Africans, I mean, I don't, and then Elon Musk is a South African. I don't have sympathy for him, because look what happened when the president of South Africa went to the White House. See the way Donald Trump treated him like a child, and was trying to tell the world that there's genocide against white people in South Africa, which is furthest from is complete fake news. You understand? And that was spurred on by people like Elon Musk. You understand? Now the two of them are at each other's throats again because of the one big bill or whatever that bill is called. Yeah, the one big beautiful bill. Yeah, that's a disaster. So I already mentioned it earlier about that's going to increase borrowing. You understand? Where Raji says I'm comparing Nigeria with America, but America is the biggest debtor in the whole world. And when they started putting tariffs on China and all that kind of stuff, all of a sudden American debt started going up in price. The interest rate was going up, and then the stock market started affecting. Trump had to roll back. You know, they call him Taco Trump now, which is he's always what's it mean? Turn another cheek or something like that.
He vacillates a lot.
Yeah, he's always changing his mind. He's always changing his mind. Look, at the end of the day, Trump is more or less like a dictator. He thinks that he can impose his will on Nigeria, on America, just like people think that President Tinubu should do the likewise. When you're in a democracy, you need to follow the rule of law. There's so much. Look what he's doing to Harvard. Look what he's doing to foreign students. I mean, we can go on and I know you're a fan of Trump. I don't even know how anybody can be a fan of Trump, because I think that the president of South Africa should have told him straight away that, look, when you're saying that, what he was talking about what the freedom fighters were saying and how they're saying kill the ball. You should have asked President Trump. Some people have told me that "Make America Great Again" means bring back is a dog whistle for let's bring back slavery. Is that true, Mr. President? You understand? So those are the kind of things. You can say whatever you want. What is behind the reality of what he's really meaning? When was America great again? When there was slavery. That's what he wants to bring back. That's just the truth.
Anyway, yeah, part of that thing you're all saying here is also during last week we had that discussion here. Those of you that weren't here, he has also slammed 12 countries with a travel ban. You all heard about that.
All non-whites.
Yes.
All
sorry.
Yeah, all non-whites, isn't it? Arabs and black people. People of color.
Let them all live in their country.
Oh, but somehow the man came in and said, George, the man came in and said he wants to make his country great again. And he's trying to really do that. But Femi gave us the illustration of a baby being taken off the breast milk. Any change that comes to humanity generally, yes, there are that reaction, people will react. That's how I see it. So all of this is part of the human reaction, the protest, everybody's saying no.
Matt Godwin, you don't apply the same policy of theory when it comes to Tinubu. So that I can't take you seriously. If you say it's okay for Trump, then you ought to say it's okay for Tinubu. This is outrageous. You're being a hypocrite.
Okay. Hold on.
The idea of winning a child off milk is okay. But if you win a child off milk and then you introduce Aku immediately, that's not being right. If you are winning a child off breast milk, it has to be gradual.
2021 February to June 2023 is not immediately stopping the milk. So if you want to keep that fantasy description of the reality, that's fine. We had about 18, 20 to 20 months of knowing that subsidies was going, but people chose to put their head in the sand because guess what? Nigerians know that when the deadline's coming, don't worry, the government go defer them. They go defer them. There was no more money to be deferring. No more money to defer. And President Buhari had already deferred it twice.
The truth is this. It takes a strong man, a strong political ball to make the moves that were made. We don't condemn that. We do not. And I personally do not condemn it. The only problem is the institution, the process that was failed, which brought about what we are talking about today. Listen, it is okay. People make mistakes. People do. People out of excitement can just say something because they feel this is it. This is my grandstanding, just this is what I want to stand on. Listen to me. Listen. I don't care who comes. I don't care. Even Tinubu himself, in my presence, I would say, sir, you did wrong the way you implemented fuel subsidy. It was a mistake on your part. Listen to this. Listen. All I'm saying is, I don't condemn the fuel subsidy being removed. He should have planned ahead. Look at what happened. Wait. Number one, get into the office, a special task force to look into the whole entire system, find out all the corruption and everything, then begin to implement things that are going to sustain. Hold on. Let me finish. Wisdom has been defined as the proper, timely, accurate application of knowledge. If I'm a medical doctor, and I only deal with removing babies, and then all of a sudden you bring in a brain, a man that needs the brain to be operated upon, I will be foolish enough to go and do it if I'm an obstetrician, somebody who delivers babies. So what I'm saying is, wisdom should have told him, sit still. Patience is important. Study the whole entire thing with your own government, and then begin to implement things that will cushion everything, all the messes that would have happened.
In 30
So
days.
it did not happen. It did not happen, and it is absolutely wrong.
Would that happen in 30 days? In 30 days, remember, May 29.
Even if it takes 6
May
months.
29, and the fuel
Even if
subsidy
it
was
takes
going to
6
be removed
months.
in June.
Even if it takes 6 months, it's
no, it can't be
okay.
6 months. It can't
No,
be 6
I'm
months.
saying even if it takes him 6 months to start implementing it, it is better than what has happened.
What I'm saying, the law has already been passed. Hold on. Well, this is really important. The law was already passed. The law was already passed.
It doesn't matter. They're still paying subsidy today. They are still paying subsidy up until today. So what is it?
I don't know about
they're still paying
subsidies now.
No, they're paying subsidy now. They are still paying subsidy.
Is still being paid. The whole thing was a scam, and the scam is still ongoing because those people in government are gaining from it.
I don't think so. Most of the petrol we're using today comes from Dangote's refinery, and no one is giving him any subsidies. The only subsidy he's getting the subsidy that Dangote is getting is receiving petrol in naira and receiving oil in naira. You can call that a subsidy.
What is that? How is that naira figure calculated? You are selling it to him in naira, but you are denominating it in dollars. There's no.
But the point is
buying in naira is just a gimmick.
No, what he's not doing is not having to find FX to purchase that oil. So he's using the naira, and he's got lots of naira. He's got lots of
denominating it in naira, in dollars, and you are just exchanging it to naira for him to pay in naira. So there's no gain.
There's a big difference. He's not paying in dollars, so he's using his naira, and he's got lots of naira. And he's got lots of naira from his Dangote cement, from his Dangote refinery, from all the other things he's doing. So naira is not a problem for him. His problem is FX.
Femi, what about the Malta? No, hold on. Let me ask Femi something to explain to us. Femi, I miss you so much. I'm glad you're
I love you. Listen, I love you too, man. Hey, Joe.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Going on.
Can you do me a favor?
I love you too. I love Egbo too.
I don't need your romance.
We are doing Valentine in a different way. Listen,
let me ask him a question. Let me ask Femi, can you explain to us the Malta effects? The Malta effects. Malta, yes.
You mean to me, I'm not so certain who owns the Malta thingy and what that's all got to do with Nigeria. But at the end of the day, once Dangote's refinery is up and running, which it is now, that Malta effect becomes minimal. They can't really affect the Nigerian market anymore. Do you understand? Because it's cheaper to get from Dangote here in Nigeria than anywhere else. And what's going to happen is Dangote and the Boa also bring their their refinery, and you've got the turnaround men sent to Port Harcourt and all that. I think the best thing that I think that President Tinubu is doing is that he's getting rid of Kyari and he's putting a new team in an NNPC with the mandate to turn NNPC into a PLC. And I think if he can deliver that, by the time it's the elections of 2027, I think he would have achieved a great feat for Nigeria. Because that is one thing. The NNPC needs to be unbundled, and it needs to go by IPO onto the Nigerian Stock Exchange. If Tinubu does that, together with the tax reform, 2027, I don't see anyone stopping him.
Okay, gentlemen, let's
even with the coalition.
We're coming back on
coalition. No, there's no coalition. There's no actually coalition.
Let's go with this.
It's coalition.
The phantom coalition.
Let's go out with this beautiful story. During the week, there was a very big event in Ogun State. It's called
Ogun State.
It was sponsored by Glow. Now, why I'm bringing this up is because we've been talking tourism in Nigeria. We are looking at angles where this tourism could be enhanced and bring big money, big bucks for us. Now, take note that if festivals like this is what you have in Brazil, is what you have in some part of the world, and it really brings in a lot for
You have
them.
it in Calabar.
So, let's
Yes,
talk
hello.
about judo. I know you're from Ogun State, Femi.
Yes, yes,
That's a beautiful event. I've been there once. You have that cultural, enthusiastic people,
yes,
visitors,
yes.
and sons and daughters of Ijebuland. Tell us what's that
Yeah,
thing and
so
how
that's a
can we tap into it?
yeah.
How can
Although I'm from Ogun State and I'm Owu, which is we're quite different from Ijebu, but we're all one state, and all in Ogun State we all support each other. And I think there's a fantastic festival of culture and history of the people of Ijebu. You understand? And it happens every year, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. And I was one that condemned Governor Dakwa when he built the airport in not far from there. It's in Ilison. It's not far from Ijebu anyway. But actually, when you think about it now, you're talking about tourism. It's a cargo airport. But if they were to think properly, they could mix that airport together with that event to have, you can have air flights coming straight into that airport with hotel links and a good road work to that event to make that event a massive, event. You understand? They just charter planes, so you diasporans that want to come for this event, for a week-long event in May, they will come to the event and they will have a great time. And that's something that could happen. And I think when we look at what happened in the Nigerian Sports Festival, that also was in Ogun State the other day, which was a tremendous success. To be honest with you, I think that building is doing quite well. And although he started pretty slowly, but he's doing quite well. And Ogun State is, of course, is the most industrialized state in Nigeria, even more so than Lagos. There are more industries in Ogun State than there is in Lagos, and it's boom time for Ogun State right now.
Amazing,
So,
amazing. That's
gentlemen,
fantastic.
yes.
Sorry.
Yes, that event. I was looking at it the other time, and I said, this is a big avenue for our government to tap into it and make it something that could bring in visitors. I mean, Brazil, they do have that there.
Two things.
Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
Two things. You see, many parts of Nigeria have such grand standing events that can actually increase the state's economy. But first and foremost, you see that $1 trillion road project is only going to stop at Ogun State. Mark my word. Secondly, if that money was implemented to bring light all over Nigeria, number one. Number two, to increase, like what Femi was just talking about. Let's go back from bottom up. Because if, rather than looking to the central government to be giving them money all the time, the state government can now increase the importation of foreigners into their land, as in diasporians, as in people coming to take a look at the rich, colorful events that we have. What Femi was saying is so good that each state, like Ogun State, in this time alone, you will see the type of money they will have, and there are a lot of people actually will end up moving to that place.
Yes,
absolutely.
And developing it.
Yes.
And developing it.
So let's take care of our security, take care of, and as a matter of fact, as it stands so far, for me, let the North stay where they are. No, seriously, because if you want to think about it, just like fire is in Los Angeles, they're not condemning the whole entire nation. That the whole nation is now, is unvisitable. Do you understand? In the same manner, let's secure the South with our security system, with our lights and everything, and you will see international visitors flood our nation. Our GDP will increase by 35% only by vacationers in our country.
Thank you.
These are areas we can make a lot of money, honestly.
Thank you, George. So, viewers, you're hearing this. Passionate Nigerians in diaspora and even back home. We are looking at ways of increasing our GDP, looking at ways of bringing in foreigners. Let them see this beautiful thing. You won't believe that event yesterday was so colorful that,
Amazing.
I mean,
yeah,
oh
lovely.
boy. Okay,
I
we'll take
think
it from here.
I've got to attend the next one. I think I will attend the next
Can
one.
you
I'm going to
please
attend.
get some Femi? Okay, Femi,
Mhm.
can you take some pictures and put it on the on our on our platform? I want to get those colorful things because it makes my heart happy. It increases my desire. Oh, you
Yes,
did?
we had it in
Okay,
the group. Yeah,
it's
yesterday.
just incredible,
Okay.
man. Amazing.
Wonderful. Raji, thank you very much. You come
Pleasure,
in
man.
very matured. You say it as it is. And I mean, whoever's ox is God. That's their business.
It's
And
okay. I like
Femi
Raji is Femi's dad, yo. That's your son there. But it's okay though.
I'm not sure.
There's a love. There's a love between.
I'm not sure
All
if he's
right,
old
guys.
enough to be my
So
dad,
please,
but you never know.
listen, let's keep this fun up. Wednesday, I want to see guys. I want to see you all. Let's be here Wednesday.
Beautiful.
Viewers,
We're gonna be
Up
here.
Niger, up
between the
Niger for
lines.
life.
Up Niger
Yes,
for
Niger for
life.
life.
Thank
Niger
you
for
all.
life.
Until we come again on Wednesday. Have a beautiful week. God bless you all.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
And big up Ronaldo.
Big up, Ronaldo.